Okay, welcome to Professional Guru. Like today we are going to see the Android development demo course. So what we are going to see today is why everyone wants to learn Android development and like how do you learn it and what is the demand in the market, like what is the market share and like ultimately like why do we everyone learn uh, any of the IT courses for the job, and we'll see like how are the job salaries and the job market also, and followed by the demo course, by the demo which will be given by our trainer Vinay. He has 8 years of experience in this Android development plus Java. So and this is Naren Nunna, I'm from the company. I'm the CTO of this company. So today, let's start with this Android development course. So why are we learning this course? Is like so Android development is like very hot in the market. Like everyone is talking about Android, and everyone knows that. Like most of the time, like no one can be running out from this smartphones and the tablets, right? So the usage and the availability is like growing day by day, like day by day. If you see the jobs, like from the last 6 years, how is the job percentage has been like growing up like exponentially, like for this Android and the smartphone jobs. Like in like 2008, you have only 1% of the jobs. Like right now, it's like crossing on the whole IT job market. You have more than 10% in the Android, and it's like going on right now, like it's already has a lifespan of more than 5 years, right? So it's very good, and like you are up to the and you are going to learn which is latest in the market. So which is like it's good to be like on top of the IT technology every day. Can you please mute like if you're not talking so that we can avoid some echo noise in the background noises, please? Then if you're seeing the market share, like what we have out there in the market, like the smartphones or the tablet share, is say like you have like 52.4% like which is of a major share, and it's slightly crossing the Apple share in the smartphones. And you know, like many times this Galaxy phones have been cross sales and all, because of the reach has been increased in such a before like 4 or 5 years. Apple is only the smartphone. Right now, like you have hundreds of phones out there, which is like heavily competing with the Apple. So you will be in a good shape or like in a good place once if you are like learning into this like going into this Android market. So then if you see like what are the different kinds of roles or the names or the salaries, see like you have different kinds of salary ranges like according to the expertise and the skill set. You can go with the junior mobile developer, which you will get a basic of 66K, which is very good for the interns or the starters or like early graduates and some, or like say suppose if you have a little bit of in Java or like any application experience, if you add this in your bucket of skill set, then you can go in as an Android developer or a software engineer, or like if you or like if you already have some basic experience or like in the app like app creations and all, you can enhance your skills and you can be and lead Android developer. So some of them are called like Android app developer. So see, like the mobile developer iOS is getting like more than 110K like that, because like every company needs an app, a good working app right now, not just like having some things out there, a very good working app where they can do all their things from the phone. Like you have everything on the phone, right? You can transfer thousands and thousands of dollars just from phone, and like you can do all your business, all your personal work, everything from phone. So there is the future, like you are seeing, like, and it is becoming more and more. It's not at all going down. So you no need to worry about like what is going to be the future of this Android development. It's going to be more, or like it'll be at a flat rate, but it's not going to come down at all. By this, you can say that. And like, what is the latest version of the Android out there is like Android 4.4 KitKat. Like everyone knows that, and like everyone might be using. Like most of the phones are having like Android 4.4. So like there are like many good features in the KitKat 4.4. Like then our Vinay technical trainer will be taking up that shortly. Uh, so like what is this Android course is about? It's like 4 to 5 weeks, and like the schedule of this course is like little bit flexible. Like right now we are thinking of having at 9:30 p.m. EST every weekday, something around 10 hours per week. We can plan it on the weekends too, like based upon the candidate thing. And the course fees is economical. You can email me, or like I'll call you in the to discuss about the course fees. You don't need to worry much about the course fees. We can work it out. And coming to the what are the training features I'm getting with this professional guru online trainings. So the first thing is we'll try to record each and every session we do, including this demo, and we will upload to a shared drive, and we will give it back to you. So that if you want to listen again, or like say suppose if you're working, you have a doubt or something, if you listen to already listen lecture or like work lecture, you will get that like that. Okay, like I have learned that in that training session. Let me look at that recording session. So that is a very good feature we are giving out in this training company. And like we'll be more focusing on practical things, hands-on project experience, and less of a theoretical thing, because once if you go into the job, it's all different. Like no one will be worrying about definitions, chapters, or anything like that. So for a company or for a manager, what is required is if they give a task or a job to be done, they have to be done. Like they don't care how much theoretical knowledge or depth you have. So we focus more on the practical stuff. So we'll be giving a lot of exercises, online tests. If you want, we can give you the certification guidance. And we do all these trainings online, and we use GoToMeeting, where you can say suppose if you're traveling or somewhere where you don't have your laptop or something, you can take this training even from your or tablets, and this GoToMeeting is like, I think you can take that from your mobile too, if your mobile can withstand that. And we'll have lots of study material will be uploaded to a shared drive, and we'll give access to you to that shared drive, and you can download them and keep it for you. And we want to make this an similar to the corporate training, so that you will have the real feel of this project experience, how it's gonna be in the companies. Like how about the like creation of an app development or deployment, or fixing the issues or debugging a issue, something like that. Like so we want to maintain that kind of an corporate style, so that you will be, I mean, if there are any freshers, they can be easily sync with the corporate way of like learning, like which is like very much useful. And apart from the actual training, we are going to have the special like the special features like IT consultation for the freshers. Say if you are a fresher and you don't know which technology to take. Everyone is talking about Android, big data, SQL, like business intelligence. So what do I take? So so we can take that consultation also, like based on the candidate's profile, background, and the skill set. We will match it up to the latest technology trends, and we'll suggest him a good technology to jump in. If we can provide the training, we can provide, or like we can suggest that technology to the person, and we'll conduct some mock interviews. And if you are very new to this IT world, we'll be explaining about SDLC life cycles, like little bit of a project management overview, and we'll help you out with the resume preparations. If you are a fresher, or like you are just in an initial stage of your IT career, we'll do all sorts of things which will boost your confidence levels to go into the companies and get the job done. And we'll give you the job guidance. And definitely everyone needs this marketing once they are done with the course. We'll be helping out with the marketing too. And I just want to again repeat that we are an online training company, expertise in making people expertise in the IT courses. So as a special feature, we are going to help you out with the marketing, where we have some contacts of the staffing companies where they can market your resume. But before that, you have to be ready with the IT course. Then you can go into the placements. And like I really feel that placement and marketing are two different sections. You, as a candidate, you should not mix that up. As an employer, also should not mix that up. Those are two different tracks, because if you mix that up, as a candidate, you cannot get a good grip on the technology, and like as an employer, without making the candidate ready for the technology, he cannot do placements also. So it goes hand in hand. Like both are equally important. And if you want, we can give you some kind of an internship guidance, and we have a referral program. Say you are liking the course, or like you like the demo, and like you want to bring in any other friend, there is a referral program. Will give you 15 to 20% off if you bring an candidate into the training. So it need not to be the same course. We have lots of IT courses we are offering in our company, so it can be of any type, and like any course they can take it. So like if you have any questions, or like general questions, I want to go for this job, or like we do all sorts of IT consultations. So you can feel free to drop an email at contact@professionalguru.com, or like you can call to these numbers on the screen. And the next thing is there is and the training will be conducted by Vinay, who has like 8+ years of experience in like Java and Android app development. Now I'm going to hand over the presentation to Vinay, and he will take over, and then we can go over and like see, and he will explain you, and like 10-minute short demo of a project, and like you can ask questions regarding like what are you. I just want to hand over to Vinay. Before that, I just want to show you the modules so that sorry. So, like Vinay will be like covering out all the details in like 6 modules, and like he has like tons of projects with him. You can ask him like different kinds of projects. He'll be explaining you, and I'm going to make Vinay as a presenter now. Yes.
Hi, welcome everyone. Okay. See myself, Vinay. I'm having 8+ years of experience in development, team building, and managing a team to deliver and world-class project which is used by many people now. Okay, so I was a part of a team in Infosys where I have led an team to develop the mobile app for the banks, so to access your internet banking through mobile app. So I was a part of the team, and even to some extent I have led that team. So let me explain you like what are the things we are going to learn in this online training. Let's start with this. Okay. See, first we will start a brief introduction about Android and the evolution of Android. Okay. This reminds me there is a one specific point Naren has missed, which is actually very, very important. One of the reason why Android is booming, okay, the reason is because it runs in heterogeneous devices, unlike iOS. See, in case of iOS, the Apple is the company which has to make a decision to choose the right the hardware, or if it has to come in as in a watch or something as a wearable. So Apple is the company which has to make a decision. But this is not the case with Android. Okay, so what happens? Android is open source, and it has been having pretty much enough APIs to implement anything you think of already. Okay, so the manufacturers have an independence to choose certain hardware and take up this Android source code and write the drivers and customize it according to their requirement. For example, for a long time, Android never had native support for infrared, that is IR Blaster, the new API which came in KitKat. So, but however, in the Samsung phone, you used to see that we had an app to control TV and all through remote, and it could have controlled the TVs through app. That is basically an example for heterogeneous devices. Now the Android runs in TVs. The smart TVs comes with Android. There are set-top box comes with Android. There are refrigerator comes with Android. So what happens? Android is ruling the world this way. So we'll talk more about that in the evolution of Android. Okay. Then we'll move towards just setting up an developer environment. So what do we learn here basically? See, here we'll understand how to make use of the ADT, that is the Android Development Kit, and how to download the SDK separately and integrate with existing Eclipse. Okay. Then we'll look forward how to updating our Android SDK to support the latest version, or even to support the oldest version also. And there are few things like having the Play library and libraries related to x86 architecture. So we'll get more details in the SDK front. And we'll learn how to create emulator and deal with the DDMS to send the files, receive the files, to read the logs and all. Okay, but one of the fundamental reason why people do not do not love Android development is because the emulator is very, very slow. Okay, but the fact is that the Android emulator, which comes with the Google has given, yes, it is slow, but we have a workaround for that. So for that, we use an emulator called BlueStack. Okay. So we'll learn how to configure, how to install BlueStack, but the problem what the developer will face is the BlueStack after the installation, it will not be available in DDMS. Okay, so we will understand what is DDMS sometimes later. Okay, for now just have an imagination that DDMS is a perspective, a plugin through which, through Eclipse, you will be able to access the Android devices, that is either emulator or real devices which are connected. So we'll also learn how to configure the real Android devices to work with Android SDK. What do I mean by this? See the Android which comes, okay, so you'll be using different Android, different hardware, let's say Samsung from LG or let's say the Sony. But you need to install ADB driver specific to that, and that's the one thing which you are going to learn. And we are also going to learn how to use an universal ADT driver to work with all the devices. Later we'll learn how to create our first application, okay, so where we'll understand what is the Android project hierarchy, what happens when you run as Android application, okay, how does the Eclipse install APK to emulator or a real device. Okay, you might have, if you had tried an Android development, if you have developed any first app as such, you might have seen if you right click run as Android application, that gets straight away installed in emulator and you will be able to open the app. How that is happening, what is happening behind the scenes. So such things we'll learn. Then we'll move towards the building blocks of Android. There are basically 4 building blocks in Android. An activity, then a broadcast receiver, content provider, then services. If you know these 4 building blocks, so pretty much you are expert in Android. So we will move towards learning activity, navigating from one activity to another activity. Okay, just for your information, an activity means an visible thing to you in the phone. Okay, so how you go from one activity to, let's say, one page to another page, you can put it that way. So that is using intents, and we learn the various different types of intents. And in this chapter, we'll also create an what? Instagram clone. If you are using an Instagram app, so I'll show you how to create an Instagram clone. Then we'll learn about the menus. There are like options menu, context menu, pop-up menu, then the notification. And in the notification, I will teach you something specific where you can what? Separate your code into separate classes. Okay, that is utility class. Okay. Then how to notify using vibrator, flash alert, sounds. And later we'll understand how to what? And user interface which is compatible with laptop. Okay, I mean if you are using a web view. Okay, so if you are even in the laptop now, you can use BlueStack emulator and run the Android app. Okay, and the same Android app, how it can be compatible with tablet or phone. And you are also going to learn something specific here, which is called as web view, which will enable you to what? If you are an web app developer, HTML5, CSS expert, then you will be able to create an what? App which looks like native. Okay, we have developed an app and published it to market. I will give you a pointers to that, which actually developed using WebView. So we'll move towards what? How to save the things in our app. If we have some form data, or if we are reading some data from server, how do we save it to what? Internal storage, external storage, or some user preferences. Then SQLite, we'll also deal with SQLite here. And most important thing here is in what situation, what storage you should choose. Either you should write it to internal storage or external storage. So we'll discuss more about that, which is the right option in what kind of app. Then we will learn about content provider, which is used for sharing your data from one app to another app, okay, or even from one activity to another activity. Then we'll also learn about broadcast receiver. Okay, so broadcast receiver will enable you to what? Subscribe to system-wide events. So let's say you want to track all the SMS which is coming and save it in somewhere as in a log or something. Now you cannot write a service which will be keep communicating with the what? Any new SMS is there every 5 seconds or 10 seconds, because we deal with the devices which comes with very low profile devices, the low memory, low CPU cycle, and the low capacity. So what do? We will tell the operating system, boss, you inform me the moment any events as such. Let's say the moment you get an SMS, but I will be data, so I will not be running in, I will not be anywhere in the memory. So that's what broadcast receiver. We'll learn more about that. That's a building block of Android. Then we'll learn the messaging, how to send and receive SMS and receive email. Okay, so we'll write a simple code snippet to what? Send an email, a simple app. Then we'll start learning about the sensor framework. Okay, so there are 3 different kinds of sensors supported by Android. Okay, so that is environment sensors and now the healthcare sensors and motion sensors. So using which you can develop the apps like what detecting shake, using let's say magnetometer, you can what? Magnetic field sensor, you can what? Find an app, develop an app to find ghost. And let's say I have developed an app to control presentation from my phone. Okay, so I'll be sharing you the source code and explaining you how I have developed it. So one of the thing which is used every day in our one or other app is what? Playing sound or playing a video or recording an audio the moment call starts, such kind of things. So for that we'll get a complete exposure to media framework where we'll learn about audio, then we'll learn about what? Video, playing the video from phone and playing the video from external storage, video picker, then video from URL and recording audio. So all these things we'll be learning here. And no matter how fast your phone is, okay, if you are not a good developer, you will really going to irritate your users. How? That is, you'll press a button and after pressing a button, it's the operation which is going to take behind. That after pressing the button, let's say you may be what? Getting the data from a server, or you may be doing some operation which might take somewhere around some 10 to 30 seconds of time. What happens till that time, the user interface lags, it looks like it's hanged or something. Even if you are using S3 or S5 kind of high-end phone also. So what we learn here, how to separate such things in a service and separate thread, and how to use asynchronous task to what? Run in separate thread at be in harmony with the user interface. Okay, so that is a sync task. Okay, then we'll also learn how to communicate to other devices using Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi direct and Bluetooth. Okay, and how to enable, disable Bluetooth. Okay, then we'll move towards, let's say when it comes to Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, there is an often requirement that we want to list the devices. So we'll move towards and to support such kind of data, that is using list view and array adapter. So here we learn the basics of this, and there's also a part 2 where we learn more advanced concept about list view and array adapter. Yeah, so you can make your app location aware. In the previous classes, we'll be starting with an application where I'll be developing the code in front of you. It's complete hands-on. Okay, to the same app, I am going to what? Add the location API. That means I'm going to bring the location awareness to our app basically. Okay, so here we'll be dealing with Google Map version 2, and we'll be learning complete in and out of location. You'll be able to show Google Map. You'll be able to what? Draw a marker. You'll be able to basically what? Draw an image on your map. Upon selecting the image, you can show some data, and you can enable zoom functionality. You can draw the what? Direction from one location to another location, and you will also be able to retrieve the latitude and longitude information through GPS without using internet. Using the latitude and longitude, you will be able to retrieve the address associated with that particular latitude, longitude, that is geocoding. So you'll be learning all these things in this location-based services. Okay, it's a separate chapter. Okay. After that, we'll move towards some of the advanced concepts like animations in Android, where we'll make our application really what? Look cool and fantastic. Okay, then one of the fundamental thing which we face, the problem which we face every day is communicating with the web service. Okay, so this chapter caters for what? Doing an end-to-end development. We'll be developing from the client till server, and we'll be reading the data from server, and we'll be what? Showing it in a client and finishing up with this the whole life cycle of development. So later we'll move towards publishing apps to market. Okay, so there you will learn how to publish apps to market, the best principles to publish things to market. Okay, some of the tips I will share it with you to what make your app to become famous among other apps. Okay, then some of the apps might generally require login with Facebook or login with Google Plus account. That is also covered in these advanced concepts. So the deliverables, the final deliverables are basically the projects. Okay, so you can see I have a whole list of projects, not just this is only because the screen can accommodate this much I have added this. So there will be many other projects I will be sharing with you, and some of the projects I will be explaining the source code which will cover almost all the topics which you have covered before. Along with this, the one more thing is the deliverables includes you can always contact me and get an guidance on how to, if you are starting a new project, you can always I'm available in WhatsApp, Google Plus. Okay, so you can do Google Hangout. Okay, so anytime you can call back and get an guidance from me. And so the deliverables also includes the world-class materials. Okay, so it also includes the source code for and the sample code, the APIs developed over the APIs of Android. So that is developed by me. So that will also be a part of the deliverables. Okay, so you'll also be getting the source code to these projects. So thank you. Let me know if you have any doubts, questions, or anything as such. Let me pass it back to Narayan.
Yeah.